My story starts in a quiet little beach town called Seabrook Harbor, tucked away on the coast about an hour north of Boston. It's one of those places with tree-lined streets, cozy coffee shops, and the constant sound of waves in the background. I was 29, working the front desk at a small inn right by the water. Life was simple, maybe even boring to some people, but I liked it that way. I wanted a close group of friends, a small apartment, and a routine that made me feel safe. Being wasn't even on my radar. After a string of bad relationships in my 20s, I pretty much decided I was better off alone. But sometimes life has a funny way of bringing someone into your world exactly when you're not looking for it. That's how it was with Ryan. Ryan came to the inn for work. He had this presence about him that was different from our usual gestures. Calm, polite, with a quiet, kind of tired in a vibe. His smile was warm, his voice was soft. When he asked about a room, I checked him in, and when he thanked me, it felt genuine, like he actually saw it in. I noticed the way he looked at me, not in a creepy way, but with real kindness. I smiled back without thinking about it. The next morning, he came down to the lobby, asking for suggestions on what to do around town. I told him about the best coffee place, showed him where to find the quieter parts of the beach, pointed him toward the seafood shack the locals go to. He listened carefully, really listened, which caught my attention. And that's how our conversation started. He stayed for 2 weeks. Every night after work, he'd come down to the lobby and we'd talk. Sometimes we'd walk along the beach. Other times we'd sit on the bench by the old lighthouse. We talked about everything: life, books, music, what we wanted out of the world. He told me about the pressure of his job in the city, and I told him about the quiet simplicity of my life here. With him, I felt light, like I could just be myself. One night, walking by the water under the stars with a cool breeze blowing, he turned to me and said, "Being with you feels like coming home." Those words stayed with me. I think that's when I started falling for him. When his 2 weeks were up, he left Seabrook Harbor, but we stayed in touch. He'd text me every day, and we'd talk on the phone every night. We'd laugh, share stories about our days. I found myself missing him more than I thought possible. A month later, he came back. But this time, instead of staying at the inn, he rented a small cottage near the marina and asked me to come over. We'd cook dinner together, listen to music, dance in the kitchen. It felt like we'd known each other forever. I thought I was lucky. But then one night, something shifted. We were sitting on the couch drinking tea when his face got serious. He took a breath and said, "Emily, I need to tell you something." I looked at him, my heart starting to race. "I'm married," he said, staring at the floor. "I have 2 kids." Everything went quiet. I couldn't speak. My hands went cold. I looked away. "I didn't mean to hide it," he explained. "I didn't expect to meet you, but my marriage isn't good. We're living in the same house, but the love's been gone for years. I'm only staying for the kids." His voice was quiet, sad, but I still couldn't find words. My mind was spinning. I stood up and walked outside. The air was sharp and I could hear the ocean. I wanted to cry. He followed me out. "I'll understand if you want to walk away," he said. I just nodded and went home. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing with questions. Why didn't he tell me? Why did this have to happen to me? But I also remembered the way he looked at me, the sound of his voice, how safe he made me feel. I was so confused, caught between wanting to be angry and desperately missing him. The next day, he texted me. "I'm sorry," it said, "but I miss you." I didn't respond. For days, I walked around in a fog. Work was hard. I couldn't focus. My hand kept reaching for my phone. My heart and my head were at war. I told myself to forget him, but I couldn't. A week later, we met again, down by the beach. I told him how hurt I was, how upset I was that he kept this from me. He didn't make excuses. All he said was, "I care about you." And then, I stayed. I know it was wrong. I know most people would say it was a huge mistake, that I willingly became the other woman. But at that moment, I wanted to believe he meant it, that this was temporary, that maybe he'd leave her eventually and choose me. So our relationship continued, but in secret. He'd come to Seabrook Harbor once or twice a month, staying in his little cottage. I'd go over after work. We'd have dinner, talk, watch old movies, or just sit in comfortable silence. It felt real, but also fragile, like a dream that could disappear any second. We never went out in public together, no photos, no date nights, no talk of a future, just stolen moments in the quiet of his place. But in those moments, he made me feel important. He listened, remembered the smallest things I said. He'd help me cook, make me laugh, bring me books I'd mentioned wanting to read. He made me feel loved. But there was always this voice in the back of my head. I wasn't his first choice. I wasn't part of his real life. I was just something on the side, easy and uncomplicated. And still, I didn't leave. Maybe it was because of how loved he made me feel, or because I wanted to believe his words, or maybe it was just fear of being alone again. Those quiet evenings were something to hold on to. Even with the pain, it felt better than having nothing. But slowly, things started to change in me. My smile didn't reach my eyes anymore. I'd wait obsessively for his texts, rearrange my whole schedule around his visits, turn down plans with friends. My world got smaller and smaller until it was just him and the waiting. Sometimes I'd stand by the ocean asking myself, is this love? Or have I just lost myself? And I'd tell myself, just wait, maybe it'll get better. But the questions kept coming, getting louder each day. Weeks turned into months, and I stayed in that quiet life, waiting for Ryan. I still loved him, but something inside me was shifting. I was getting tired, not just physically, but deep in my soul. I was always waiting for a text, for a visit, for a connection that was only mine for a few hours at a time. Sometimes he'd spend a whole weekend with me. We'd be in that little cottage by the marina, talking, eating, making love. But then he'd leave and the place would feel cold and empty. I'd look around at the space and see only my things. He never left anything behind. No clothes, no photos, no proof he'd ever been there. It was like he lived two separate lives, and in one of them, I didn't exist. I tried to tell myself that love takes time, that he really did care about me. Maybe he did, but he always went back to his wife, his kids, to a life I could never be part of. And a question started growing louder in my head. Why was I letting this happen? One night after he left, I sat by the window watching the rain. The question hit me clearly. What am I doing with my life? I was giving everything to someone who couldn't give me everything back. I was always second place. I had dreams too, a home, a family, someone who would choose me every single day without question. Instead, I had empty rooms and silent nights. Something in me started to wake up. I knew I deserved more, but I was terrified. The thought of losing him, of being alone, felt unbearable. Part of me kept hoping things would change, that one day he'd show up and say, I left. I'm here now, just for you. But that day never came. I talked to Rachel, my best friend who knew the truth about everything. I told her I was exhausted, sad, and confused. You deserve to be someone's first choice, Emily, she said. You should be with someone who's proud to have you, someone who walks with you in the daylight, not someone who just hides you in the shadows. Her words hit hard. I started seeing how much I'd changed. I barely laughed anymore. I stopped going out. My eyes were always on my phone. I'd given up things I used to love, reading by the ocean, walks in the park, dinners with friends. My whole world had shrunk, and I'd let it happen. One night, Ryan came over again. He brought flowers, smiled, kissed my forehead. He acted like everything was normal, but I felt different. What's wrong? He asked. I don't know if I can do this anymore, I said. He looked surprised. Why now? He asked. Because I feel like I'm not living my own life, I told him. I exist around you, waiting for your visits, your calls, your attention. But I'm always just waiting. I want more. I need more. He sat down and there was this heavy silence. Finally, he said, I love you, Emily. You know I do. Then why don't you choose me? I asked. He looked away. It's not that simple. I have kids, a family. And what am I? I said quietly. Just a secret. He didn't answer. That night I cried again, not because he was cruel, he wasn't, but because I finally understood he was never going to leave. Not for me, not for anyone. After he left, I didn't reach out. I needed time to think. Every morning before work, I'd walk the beach, let the wind hit my face, watch the waves keep moving, and think about my life. What did I really want? What made me happy? Slowly, I started finding the person I used to be. The girl who loved long walks, coffee with friends, getting lost in books by the fireplace. I missed her so much. I also thought about what real love was supposed to be. Beyond flowers and physical closeness, it was having someone who chose you openly, who said, "You're mine," without hesitation. That wasn't what I had with Ryan. I started writing in a journal every night. It helped me work through everything, figure out what I actually wanted. With every page I filled, I felt a little bit stronger. Ryan kept texting, saying he missed me and wanted to see me, but I didn't respond. I needed more time. A week later, he showed up at my door. I was surprised, but I let him in. "I had to see you," he said. "You've been so quiet." "I've been thinking," I told him. He sat down and I continued. "About us?" "Yes," I said. "About everything." We talked for a long time. I told him how I felt about the constant waiting, always being second, losing myself in the process. "I can't do this anymore," I said. "I love you. Maybe I always will. But I need a real life. I want to be with someone who can give me their whole heart, not just a piece of it." His face fell. "I can't leave them, Emily. I've thought about it, but I can't do that to my kids." I nodded. But at the same time, I realized something deeper. This was the end. "I hope you find peace," I said. "I hope we both do." He stood up and we hugged briefly. "I'm sorry," he whispered. And then he left. And that was the last time I saw him. That night, I cried again, but it felt different. It hurt, but it was also cleansing. Like finally being able to breathe after holding your breath for too long. The next morning, I went down to the beach. I stood there for a while, just watching the waves. The sky was clear, the breeze was gentle. I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. I knew healing would take time, but I also knew I'd taken the first step. For the first time in forever, I wasn't waiting for a text or checking my phone. I was just there with myself. And for now, that was enough. Months passed after I ended things with Ryan. At first, the days felt endless and heavy. I missed him, his smile, his touch, those intimate moments we shared. Some mornings I wanted so badly to text him, and some nights I'd cry into my pillow, holding on to the memory of his voice. But gradually, things started to shift. I reconnected with my friends, started saying yes to Rachel's invitations for coffee every weekend. We'd talk and laugh and fill the space. Sometimes we'd just sit in comfortable silence, enjoying each other's company. It felt so good to be around people who loved me completely. No secrets, no hiding. I also got back to the things that used to bring me joy. I started reading again, losing myself in stories of love and hope. I took evening walks along the beach, watching the sunset, listening to the rhythm of the waves. The ocean always made me feel calm, reminding me that life keeps moving forward no matter what. I also started working on personal goals, signing up for a small creative writing class at the community center. I didn't tell everyone about it. It was just for me. Every week, I'd sit and write down my thoughts, my hopes, my feelings. Writing became therapy, helping me heal. One evening after class, I stopped by a bookstore on the corner, a place I hadn't been to in forever. Inside, I noticed a guy looking through travel books. He smiled when our eyes met, and I smiled back. He looked familiar, but I couldn't quite place him. He came over and said, "Hey, you're in the writing class, right?" I said, "Yeah, I just started last week." His name was Jake. We chatted briefly about the class, books, the weather. It was simple, but something about his voice put me at ease. The next week, he sat next to me in class. After, we walked to a nearby cafe. We talked about normal stuff, family, work, favorite foods. He was gentle and a good listener. When I spoke, he actually looked at me. I didn't feel nervous, just calm. We started meeting after class regularly, sometimes for coffee, sometimes just for a walk. He never pushed or asked too many questions about my past. He was just patient. One evening, we were sitting on a wooden bench near the shore. The sky was turning orange and the air was crisp. I turned to him and said, "Can I tell you something?" "Of course," he said. "I was in a relationship before. It wasn't healthy. He was married. I spent a lot of time waiting for him. I loved him, but I was always second. I don't want that kind of love again." He was quiet for a moment, then said, Thank you for telling me. I think you're brave. And you deserve so much better than that. That night, I went home with this warmth in my chest. Not from falling in love, but from feeling truly seen. Weeks turned into months, and my relationship with Jake deepened. We'd go on drives, see movies, talk about the future. He never rushed things or asked for more than I could give. I started smiling for real again. My laugh became lighter. I felt free. One day, I looked at myself in the mirror and saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. It wasn't the sad girl waiting for texts or crying alone at night. It was me, Emily, strong, kind, and alive. Jake came into my life like the sun rising after a long night. He didn't try to fix me, he just walked beside me. In his quiet way, he showed me what real love looks like. One evening, watching kids play in the park, I asked him, "Do you ever think about having a family?" He said, "Yeah, someday, with the right person." I smiled. Me too. We didn't need to say more. We both understood. I know now that love doesn't have to hurt. It shouldn't have to be hidden or make you feel small. Love should feel safe, like coming home. Looking back, I don't regret what happened. It taught me so much. I learned that love without respect isn't enough. I learned that waiting for someone who can't commit will only break your heart. And most importantly, I learned that peace comes from within, not from someone else. Now, I have that peace. I have hope. I have love, not from someone who kept me hidden, but from someone who walks with me in the open. If someone asked me today if it was all worth it, I'd say yes, because through all the pain, I found myself. And in finding myself, I opened the door to a new kind of love, the kind I actually deserve.